Hey everybody, today we're taking a look at a very small, unique, and very powerful little alcohol stove. This is the Hamans Folding Alcohol Titanium Stove. Let's check it out. All right, folks, welcome back. Now, you know I love alcohol stoves. I think they're very efficient. They're awesome for indoor use as they're not as dangerous as using a regular gas-powered stove. Don't give off as much carbon monoxide. And they're very handy. They come in handy almost anywhere. With a decent windscreen on them, you can pretty much set them up anywhere, even in the cold or the hot. We tend to go a little bit of the extremes out here in the desert, but not as bad as some other areas. Our cold temperatures get down to, we're freaking out if it's 17 degrees out. So it's not as bad as some other areas, but still, this will work perfectly in that condition. And like I said before, they're lightweight, they're compact, and they're easy to use. There's absolutely no complicated stuff with this. You just simply carry some fuel with it, and you're good to go. This is super lightweight. This is a titanium stove here. I'll give you a quick look at it. This is its folded up state. Okay, pretty easy to understand how it's going to work. I'm going to show you how it opens up in a second here, but I want to give you a little bit of information on this, okay? Around the outside of this, you have 8 micro holes on the top of the stove, which improve the combustion efficiency of the stove itself. If you take a look inside here, and I have the camera zoomed in for that reason, you'll see that these areas are kind of raised on the inside here. The alcohol fumes will go up in there, and this area has been what looks like polished off until there's a little hole. Maybe they drilled a little hole and polished it up. So you have 8 little holes around here. And what will happen is the alcohol heats up inside the container. The fume vapors go up that little dented area there and out of that little hole. So you get very, very efficient burn out of this. I have tried it once before, and I was really impressed with it. It worked very, very well. So what we're going to do is our usual burn test with 2 cups of water on it. But I want to show you how easily this can be opened up and how it works. All right, so if you're going to open this up, I obviously backed it up a little bit so you can see it better. You're going to fold out the legs first, okay? Each of these legs folds out very, very easily. I think the only thing on here that isn't titanium are these little rivets. They look like they're stainless steel. And then you're going to open up the top little pot stand on it. Very firm, gripping kind of top to it. And there you go. You're ready to go. You can fill this up. They tell you not to fill it too high. I'm going to be boiling 2 cups of water, so I'm not going to go crazy with this. There is one downside to this I have found yet, and that it's very hard to put out. There's not a snuffer that goes over it. I may eventually build something for it, something that goes around the inside here and just covers it, without going over these. I guess if you wanted to, once you were done with your cup, and you boiled your water, you could flip those in and cover it like that. But see, it still won't go all the way down, and without all that oxygen out of there, you're going to have that issue with these, and you won't be able to put it out. So that's only my complaint about it so far, is you kind of have to let it burn out, unfortunately. And maybe if you're in an area where there's a lot of snow or a lot of mud or whatever, you can take a gloved hand, pick it up, and dump it out. Kind of dangerous and kind of messy, but as a general rule, you kind of have to let this one burn out. Maybe we'll come up with a snuffer for it later, but for now, that's my only complaint with it. It is a very lightweight and convenient design. It is all titanium, like I said, except for the little rivets. It does come with a bag, and I seem to have, there it is. I lost it for a second there. Nice little drawstring bag. Very, very simple to use. You just pop it in there. Okay. So you do have a little bit of a storage with it. They say this is suitable for 1 or 2 people when cooking. I could imagine, a small titanium pan or something, or like what we're going to use today, this Lixada 750 milliliter cup to boil water in. I think that would be perfect for it. Again, you're not going to be cooking huge gourmet meals on this. Generally, I use these kind of things for boiling water and for doing coffee, stuff like that. So I'm not looking to turn this into some kind of, huge gas stove that I'm going to be cooking big meals on. Freeze-dried entrees, it's awesome with that. You can just heat stuff up, toss it in the freeze-dried entree. So it's convenient for that, but, it does have its limitations. You're not going to be like cooking a huge 4-course meal on this thing. But again, when we're out in the wild, during emergencies, whatever, and as far as emergencies go, if I were to, say, be very limited in my space, let's say a studio apartment somewhere in a big city, I would feel very secure using something like this. Of course, I'd use it near my sink. I'd be careful. But, again, lower carbon monoxide emissions, almost none really. I mean, you can be very safe with these. They use these on ships, alcohol stoves, for that reason. And they are very efficient, and it doesn't require a lot of storage. That's a very small item. You can stick that even in a duffel bag with maybe 50 or 60 freeze-dried meals, and you got yourself a good little long-term sustainment kit. Of course, you're going to need fuel. This is what I have here today. This is from Home Depot. It's just denatured alcohol, very easy to use. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put 2 cups of water in this guy here, and we're going to fill that up with some alcohol, and we're going to fire it up, and I'll let you see it bloom because it does bloom fairly quickly, and then we'll see how long it takes to boil 2 cups of water. All right, so I got you zoomed in here just so you can see. We're going to turn off the top light once this gets going, and I can show you how quickly it'll bloom. I got my lighter. There we go. Let's turn off that top light and take a look and see. I'm starting to see it come out. And there we go. It's bloomed. You can see the jets are shooting out air. So that's pretty darn impressive. I gotta say, that's a pretty quick bloom time. All right, let's turn the lights back on, and we will put the 2 cups of water on here and start the timer. Okay, you move this out here. Again, this is just 2 cups of cold water. We're not doing anything special with it. It's on there. It's covered. Come on. All right, let's start the timer. So we'll add 10 seconds. There we go. We'll add 10 seconds at the end of the video. So there you go. And I'll bring you back once it's boiling, and I'll let you see how it looks underneath there in a second, and we'll see how this works. All right, you can just see that blue kind of direct wall under there of flame. It's really working well. And all the jets are working, but you also get the flame from the bottom too. So it's very, very impressive. Really focuses that heat right on there. And again, we've only been going for a minute now. So we're going to let this go, and I'll bring you back once it's done, and we'll show you how long it's taken. All right, we are at the 3 minute and 6 second mark. I'm going to move you up here and let you see. Now remember, this was freezing cold water out here. Starting to get bubbles on the bottom. So definitely doing its job. But that was ice cold water. It was water that was been out here previously. And I would say it's probably about 45 degrees out here right now. I don't have any heat running or anything. Still doing a great job. So let's see how long it takes to finish. All right, I just wanted to show you something really quick. One of the things I noticed about this stove is within a minute of it blooming, it gets a lot more intense. Remember when I picked it up the first time? Now people are going to be like, you're messing around with it too much. It's way more intense right now. There's way more concentrated flame under there. So it does take they say about a minute to 2 minutes for it to have more firepower. It'll gradually increase, they say. So got to say it's doing that. And we got bubbles at, we're almost there at 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So it's not super fast, but it definitely does the job. And for an alcohol stove, that's not bad. All right, bring you back once and for all when it's done. We have a boil 6 minutes, 8 seconds. We'll say 6 minutes, 20 seconds because it took me forever to get that started. As you can see here, let's lift you up. Nice rolling boil. Now here's where my complaint came into play. And one of the things that is nice is you can still pick this up with your hands. You really can't put that out. I have no way to put that out, so I'll have to let it burn out. If I were to put like something to snuff it, it's not going to stop it, obviously. It has to be completely covered. You want to be judicious with your amount of alcohol that you use. I mean, you can tell I probably put too much in there, but it's really going. You can see that thing is really putting out flame. So 6 minutes and 20 seconds to boil 2 cups of water with a tiny little stove like that. I mean, you can see compared to this cup, you can see how small that is. One of the nice things I'm noticing, though, is now that I have the cover off, it's burning a lot faster, and I'm watching the alcohol level go down. So that's really my only complaint. So let me let this burn out, and we'll finish up the video, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. And I'm sure that I could build some kind of snuffer for that, but for now, we're just going to have to let it burn out. Well, as you can tell, it's still going, but I did have an idea. A long time ago, I did a video on making this little cup out of a tin can to boil water in, and I put a little wood handle on it. Let's see if that goes over all the way. See, you're still running into that problem with the feet. There we go. I kind of shoved it over there. So hopefully that put it out. Let's see. Yep. So as long as you can find something that will cover it, that really is my only complaint. I wish they would have had something to snuff the flame with. Obviously, there's a little indentation. If I can pull these in, these are going to be hot, so we'll get out of there quick. You can see there's a little slot in there, a little room. And obviously you could have something that would just go over the cap and top and put it out. But other than that, it's a very efficient little alcohol stove and very unique design too. I'm going to let it cool off and I'll give you a final look around it and I'll give you some final stats and information on it. All right, so it's cooled off. One of the things I do with my extra alcohol, I never put it back into the original container. I like to put it back into a smaller container that I know has been already burned, and in just in case there's anything gets in it, or food or anything. And also, too, it keeps the fire risk down. If I'm pouring it back into, even though it's out and cool, something this big, and the chance of it lighting back up, this is going to be a whole lot bigger fire than, say, something this big. And I've used this little Stanley flask for denatured alcohol for ages. So I got the alcohol back in there, poured it back in. Very easy to do, too. It doesn't spill everywhere. You just tip it over. There is a little bit left in there, so we'll let it kind of get out of there. But I want to show you how it folds up. Real simple. You're going to push the legs in. That's another added benefit to titanium is it cools off very quickly. So if you want to heat something up and be on the move, you can. There you go. Now I'm going to get my little bag and just pop it right in there, and I'm good to go. Back off on the trail wherever I'm going. Now, for bug-out bags, that's kind of handy because even get home bags, if you think you're going to have to cook something, very, very handy because you're able to pack up and be on the move very, very quickly, which is something you really want to look into if you're in a bug-out or bug-home situation. You may not want to be out there showing everybody, look, I have food on the side of the road here, I'm cooking, you know. So definitely handy, definitely quick to use. My only complaint was the fact that they don't have a snuffer for it, and that's what I was talking about, that little area in there. So you could have opened that up and easily come up with something that would fit down in there and snuff the top off. But hey, I found a solution for it. And like I said, if you're in an area where there's snow or mud or dirt where it's not going to catch fire, even though it's not very safe, you probably could, while it's lit with gloved hands, tip it over, dump it out, and let that flame burn out on the ground. I don't recommend that because that's how fires start. But in an extreme emergency where you got to move, you could do that with it too. Anyway, I'm very impressed with it so far. It's a nice little unique kind of stove. I wouldn't hesitate to use that, say, indoors. If I had to heat up a freeze-dried meal or something, I'd just take my water. As you can tell, that's still going. I'd take my water, pour it into my freeze-dried meal, and I'd be all set. And I'd be able to take care of myself. That's the biggest thing that I'm seeing with a lot of folks during these recent storms that we had in upstate New York, is a lot of them just, even though they knew the storm was coming, they don't have the knowledge to get ready to be prepared for something like that. It's not that they're intentionally not doing it. It's that they don't understand what's required to do that. And having a way to cook is very important, whether you're on the move with a bug-out situation, or even if you're just camping, or if you're stuck at home with 20 feet of snow outside your door. So it's definitely an interesting little stove. Now, some information on it. Open size, 4.7 inches by 3.3 inches. Storage size, 3.7 by 2.6 inches. The stove body thickness is 1 millimeter or 0.04 inches. The stand thickness, 1.2 millimeters, okay, or 0.05 inches. Max capacity, okay, 80 milliliters of rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol, whatever you're going to use. They recommend you don't use over 60 milliliters, and the net weight is 44 grams or 1.5 ounces. It actually feels lighter than that, but it's definitely a neat little system, and it's an awesome little cooking system, and I really like it. And the fact that it's titanium makes it nice and lightweight for anybody that's going to be considering taking that in a bag somewhere. Anyway, folks, that's the video for today. I will put a link down below. These run about $27.50, which is not bad considering what titanium used to be. In the days when I was more of a watcher than an active participant in YouTube, we're talking probably 11 or 12 years ago, I would watch people do reviews on titanium stuff, and something like that would be $85. So titanium has come down in price, and there is the added benefit, and sometimes people think it's not a benefit, but there is the added benefit of it cooling off quickly. But as you can tell, we got 2 cups of water over here boiling, and it's still nice and hot. So it's not like it's going to cool your food off that quick. But if you don't have maybe a liquid in there, like it's hot food, you maybe want to eat that quicker than you have to in a stainless steel cup. But I like the fact that it cools off quick because I can take that, grab that, put it in my pocket, and be on my way quickly if I'm in a bug-out situation or a bug-home situation during a disaster and I have to make some food or something. I don't think of it that way because I live so close to where I work I'm literally right here in my house. And even when I did work far away, I worked about 25 miles outside of town. And it was, I could have walked home in a couple hours. It wasn't really a big deal. But sometimes people have a 50, 60, or 70-mile trek home, and you may need to stop and make dinner or make a snack or make a meal or something if you're on the way and hungry. You may need to warm up your hands. You may need to warm up some hot water for some coffee, whatever. And that's an excellent way to do it. So like I said, link will be down below for this. This is in my store as well, in the stoves section in my Amazon store. Don't forget to check out all our links down below. We have our freeze-dried wholesaler link. The link saves you 15% just for using it. Like I say, folks, now is the time to get stocked up on food. If that isn't your thing, we also have the My Patriot Supply link. That's preparewithiridium.com. We have $250 off a 3-month kit. Now, when I talk about getting ready for storms and stuff, it's about 6 buckets, I believe. You stick it in your closet. You make sure you have adequate water storage to hydrate it all, and you're good to go. Make sure you have a way to heat yourself the food up. And, again, wouldn't not recommend that. That would be an awesome little way to heat it up. Maybe a bigger alcohol stove if you're cooking for a family. Like they say, that's good for 1 or 2 people. We have that there. There's a ton of other stuff on the site, too, so definitely check it out. We have a 2-week and a 4-week kit. The 4-week kit has $50 off. 2-week kit, I'm not sure because it's not featured on my site. But if you're interested in seeing more stuff from them when you go to my site, which is preparewithiridium.com, just click on one of the food things on the site, and it will take you to the main site. And you can see there's a ton of other food on that site to look at and other gear as well for emergencies. And below that is our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. We will have some more stuff coming up from Thrive this month. I want to focus a little bit on them because I know I have a lot of new people, ordering stuff on Thrive, and they're probably asking themselves, well, okay, that's great. I got it. What do I do with it? So I want to focus a little bit on that. So we'll be checking that out in the new month after the new year. And thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.